What do you like most about your job?
Oh man, my favorite part of the job is that no day is ever the same. It seems like, we're doing the same thing all the time, right? Building marketing assets, but there's a wide variety of projects that we work on and a wide variety of teams that we work with. So everything is always new. There's always something different to work on or a different type of conversation to have. So it never ever gets boring.
So today I'm here with Taylor Arth, and today we're going to be doing a couple of things. First, we're going to be talking about your job, then talking about the path that you took to get to where you are, before finally going into some advice you may have for young adults aspiring to pursue a career similar to yours. And first of all, Taylor, I really want to thank you for coming out and volunteering your time in support of CareerRoad. It means a lot that you care about guiding young adults to success, and I know you are very successful in what you do and the best of the best when it comes to marketing. So I'm super happy to have you here, and thank you for volunteering your time.
Thank you so much, Shane, for having me.
Tell me about your job.
So I am the Assistant Vice President of Marketing Communications. I work for a credit card company within the financial services industry. And the team that I lead, so Marketing Communications is the name of the team that I lead. And I would describe it as an internal creative agency. So there's really two arms to the team. One side is account management that is responsible for interfacing with clients and intaking project requests. And the other arm is the creative side of the team, which is comprised of graphic designers, videographers, motion graphics artists, copywriters. And they are responsible for intaking those project requests and creating marketing assets that support marketing initiatives throughout the organization.
So what do these marketing assets look like?
They could be anything from like a social media post that you see to an email that you receive from a business to a mailer that you would get in your mailbox, all the way to like the actual product that we produce. So in our case, credit cards, right? That piece of plastic that's in your wallet. My team makes those too.
Awesome. So can you tell me what a typical day like is for you?
Yeah, so my career is very corporate. So we're very standard 8 to 5. So I, go to work in the morning, and it starts with, sort of saying hi to the team and sort of seeing where things are for the day. A lot of what I do is sort of overviewing the projects that are with the team. My group on average has anywhere from 75 to 80 projects open at any given period of time. So sort of look through the projects, see what's going on, see if anybody needs help, those sorts of things. As leader of the team, it's a lot of sort of conversation around, what things get prioritized when, and, what are we going to work on today? How many designers do we put on that project? When do we start this project versus that project? So it's a lot of sort of leadership and management over the projects that the team is working on specifically.
So I think you said that you have around 80 projects at a time, 75 projects at a time. Can you tell me about those projects? Like, what are you guys actually doing?
Yeah, so it's sort of what I described at the beginning. We have specifically marketing teams throughout the organization, but we also work with other teams as well. And they have project requests or project needs that help them sort of fulfill their initiatives on their side. So if I distill that down into an example, right? As a credit card organization, we're responsible for, in part, acquiring new card members. And so we have a acquisition marketing team responsible for those initiatives. So that acquisition marketing team might need an email, or they might need a direct mail kit, which is the mailer that shows up in your mailbox. And that team is responsible for the strategy of that initiative, but my team is responsible for actually supplying that email or that mailer. So they would submit a project request to my team, and then the account management side intakes that request, and then the creative side actually executes and builds that asset through platforms like Photoshop or InDesign or Illustrator, if any of those ring a bell. And then sort of there's rounds of revisions, and then the asset finally gets delivered back to the requester or the client or the person who requested it. And then that's when it shows up in your email box, or it shows up in your mailbox at your house.
Awesome. Can you tell me, what do you like most about your job?
Oh man, my favorite part of the job is that no day is ever the same. It seems like, we're doing the same thing all the time, right? Building marketing assets. but there's a wide variety of projects that we work on and a wide variety of teams that we work with. So everything is always new. There's always something different to work on or a different type of conversation to have. So it never, ever gets boring. The other thing is that it's a great way to have sort of a creative career, even if you're someone who is very structured, very organized, because we have the creative side of the team, but we also have the account management side of the team, and they kind of balance each other out, right? The account managers are responsible for managing timelines and projects, where the creative team is responsible for building assets. So it's a great way, as you sort of climb the ladder, to sort of pair those two sides of your brain if that's how your brain works.
So I want to ask you, what inspired you to pursue a career in marketing? And did you always know you wanted to be in marketing, or is there something that flipped the switch in your head that you knew you wanted to go into marketing after that?
Yeah, I did not always know. I initially thought that I wanted to work in PR. So through school, I was pursuing a degree in hospitality management with a specialty in marketing and public relations. And so I thought that public relations is what I wanted to do. And so I went out and I tried to find a job opportunity within public relations while I was in school to get experience. And I interviewed with a local business here in the Las Vegas Valley, and they didn't have a public relations position open, but they did have a marketing position open. So I took it, right? And sort of my philosophy is never pass up an opportunity. So I took that opportunity, and from that point forward, I sort of fell in love with the industry and the type of work, and I have been doing it ever since. And it brings me a lot of joy for the reasons I mentioned previously.
So you actually got your marketing position or an opportunity in marketing, even though you were looking for a job in PR.
Yes, that is correct.
So how did that opportunity come about? Like they just kind of said, "Hey, we don't have this position, but we have another position open."
Yeah, exactly. So I reached out to local small businesses. You network and you find ways to find opportunities. And I asked about a PR opportunity because I knew that this small business worked with a PR agency. And there are lots of reasons why companies don't hire for specific positions, right? Maybe they outsource those roles, or maybe they're just not looking for that service at that time. And so that was sort of the case when I approached this small business, was that they just weren't looking for that role at the time, but they were looking for a marketing specialist, entry level marketing. So I took that opportunity, and that's sort of how it came about, was just a networking conversation that led to something else.
So in college, did you do anything marketing related or only PR related?
I did some things marketing related. So I had some courses. I had entry level marketing courses. My PR experience was the same. And I also had experience doing meetings and events. So these were all like sub associations of the hospitality management degree program. So I would say that nearly all of my marketing experience has actually come from on the job education and not so much college education.
How important would you say is that on the job education?
Incredibly important. College education is fantastic. It sort of teaches you how to think, it teaches you the principles and the fundamentals, and it sort of gives you a good base for critical thinking and sort of how you approach challenges and problems. But on the job training really is what gets you the detail that you need to function within an organization and to apply those fundamentals to real life situations.
After that opportunity came up, where did you go next?
So I stayed with that organization for, gosh, I want to say 4 years. So I stayed there all through college. And then I left there and I went to MGM Resorts. And I took a management associate training program opportunity through MGM Resorts, which really was an opportunity for me to deep dive into the marketing industry and rotate through different areas of marketing to sort of figure out what I like, what I'm good at, and what I enjoy and how it supports the organization. So I did that, and then I finished that program, and I ended up where I am today, and I have been within the financial services industry for over 5 years.
Awesome. What skills and qualities would you say are essential for success in your field?
In my field, so the biggest things would be attention to detail, organization, and, sort of an ability to translate a business objective or business request or business challenge into a creative solution, which is quite literally going to be executed by a team of creatives. They're graphic designers, they're producing digital art, right, is essentially what's happening. So that ability to take a request from a vice president of account acquisition who wants to drive, 1 million additional boards this year and translate that into a marketing campaign. That takes some critical thinking, that takes some understanding of business initiative, and really, on the execution side, attention to detail to execute those campaigns in a way that meets those objectives.
What would you say the biggest challenge of the job is?
The biggest challenge is that in an industry like this, you have many stakeholders. So you've got, the team, like my team, that's responsible for building the assets. You have the team that is asking for the assets. You have other stakeholders like, legal and compliance or customer service, right? But something that happens a lot in marketing is you've got a team of marketers or sales individuals who come up with these great ideas and then they forget to tell the customer service team. So, you launch these campaigns and then nobody knows how to execute them or how to answer customer questions or how to, support the back end side of what the customer experience is. So ensuring that all the stakeholders who, have a stake in that project are present and are informed and have the resources that they need to support the campaign from start to finish is probably one of the biggest challenges.
How do you address communication challenges, especially as you're always working with a team? How do you address those challenges when they come up?
Yeah, we have a couple of different solutions. So, of course, all of the standards, right? We have regular meetings, we have status meetings to touch base and make sure things are moving along. Of course, email. Of course, we have, we use Microsoft Teams, so Teams, Slack, whatever it is that you use. But also, the majority of it is having regular touch bases with all the stakeholders involved. So, that makes sure that everyone who's involved in the project has an opportunity to ask questions, to voice concerns, to, offer a list of, we call them deliverables, the things that people are going to need. Make sure that everyone knows what each stakeholder is going to need at the time that the campaign is finished, so that all of those different pieces are sort of covered and everyone is aware of those asks through the entirety of the project. When things start to go south is when expectations aren't clear and, additional asks come in throughout the middle of the project. That's when things start to get a little messy.
Since you have been in the industry, have there been any major changes in the marketing industry over the years?
Yeah, I think there are two things of note. The first would be sort of the introduction of AI and how AI is impacting the marketing industry. It impacts from a data perspective and it also impacts from a creative perspective. So on the creative side, right, you've got graphic designers who are historically using programs like Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator, and they're building things from scratch, or they're using templates. And now all of a sudden AI is allowing for auto generation of things that would have had to be done manually in the past, right? So we're seeing the ability for certain tasks to be done more quickly, more efficiently. And that is sort of impacting the bandwidth that teams are able to work within and the levels of efficiency that teams are able to operate within. So that's the first thing. Second is, oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, sorry to interrupt, but how do you use AI effectively because it has been playing such a big role in the industry?
I think the most effective way, at least in my experience, to use AI is to sort of be strategic about how you're going to use it and make sure that it fits within the objective of your project. So in our case, there are small things that, what's a good example? We use it in photoshopping photos quite often. So, if you have, this is a very simple example, but if you have a photo of a beach scene and you're trying to fit that in to advertise for a travel credit card, but maybe the client is asking you to make tweaks to that photo, right? Historically, we would have had to make those adjustments manually, color correct or add in additional elements. And now there are certain things like that AI can do for you. That has been done quite a bit when it comes to acquisition marketing. It's easier to track those things through email links or direct mail responses, and that's now sort of being translated back into the brand marketing side of things as well.
So I want to ask you, what would you say is the best path for someone to take is if they are interested in pursuing a career similar to yours?
I'd say the first thing is to sort of seek out internships and talk to your network. I know through college experience and through high school experience, there are lots of networking opportunities that are available. Don't pass up any of them. Take any opportunity to talk to anybody. You never know who you're going to run into. You never know what connections those people have. And, don't pass up opportunities really is the biggest thing. Internships are great because they are short. And by definition, right, they allow you to get experience within a certain role, or they allow you to get experience within a certain organization, and really determine like what you like and where you thrive. Through that, you'll be able to determine if you like big companies or you like small companies, or you like stable companies or you like startup companies, or if you like sort of the creative side of things where you want to build assets, or you like the account management side of things where you want to sort of organize projects and manage timelines. Because there are a lot of different roles within sort of the marketing area, and you might not know exactly what it is that you want to do without having those opportunities to sort of perform those responsibilities and talk with people who are in those areas.
Thank you. I want to ask you now, what advice would you have for young adults who may want to pursue a career similar to yours?
The biggest thing I would say is, I think I said it before, seek out opportunities and don't pass up an opportunity to learn something new or to make a contribution, even if you think that it is not relevant to what you're doing in the corporate world. All of these things connect together. So, what I'm doing impacts what sort of risk does, and what risk is doing impacts what customer service does, and all of these things tie together. So that's sort of been a philosophy for my career, is to take opportunities, find ways to make a difference. If someone needs help, say yes, right? And you sort of figure out how to do it along the way. And, ask a lot of questions. Like, never be afraid to ask questions. Ask them of anybody who will listen and anybody who will answer, because it only helps, the more you're able to broaden sort of your breadth of experience as a young individual and as a young adult. It makes sort of specializing later down the road quite a lot easier, because you understand the impact of what you're doing on other areas of the business.
I want to circle back now a little bit more towards the path that someone can take. And how important is it for someone to have a more marketing centric major in college than majoring in something else?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. In my experience, it has not held me back. I think on-the-job training is highly valued by hiring managers across the board, specifically in my experience. So if you have work experience, or if you have internship experience, or even volunteer experience doing the things that you are going to be responsible for in whatever role it is that you're looking for, that carries a lot of weight. A lot of organizations will want new hires to have a degree, but generally, like, if you read a lot of the job descriptions, in my experience, they will say, a degree in business administration and a specialty in marketing preferred. So what really that means is they want you to have relevant experience, and they want to know that you have put in the time to get a degree that is sort of related to the field, but it's not going to restrict you from getting opportunities or seeking out opportunities that may be tangential to whatever your sort of specific degree program is.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor, that's all the questions that I have for you today. And once again, I really want to thank you for volunteering your time in support of CareerRoad. You've had some awesome advice, and you're such a industry leader when it comes to marketing. And I really hope that young adults all across the world watch your video and hear the amazing advice you have to have. And for anyone watching, if you have any specific questions for Taylor, go to careerroad.org, find her profile. She'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Shane. Really appreciate your time.